Welcome to the Charolais Chatter Podcast with Carrie Clift and Mitch Benish. Now here are your hosts, Carrie and Mitch.
Well, good evening. Episode 13 in our second season. Lucky number 13. Good thing it is. Oh, it is Friday, isn't it? Well, never mind. I better not say that.
Friday the 21st. We're in
it is the 21st. Well, it is episode 13. So with us today, we have the Ashenbaum brothers. So welcome, Ty, Sterling, and Stetson to the Charolais Chatter. How you doing, guys?
Good. Thanks for having me.
And you're all the way from Lake Park, South Dakota. Is that correct?
Like Preston.
Like Preston.
Preston.
Oh, there is no park. There might be a park in Preston, huh?
There's a park.
I put Lake Park.
He did.
That's my bad.
I
thought it was Lake Preston too.
You know, you're fired. You are fired, Mitch.
Shit.
Come on.
Hey, you can do the next. You can do the next couple outlines.
All right, Lake Preston, but there is a park in Preston, so we're good with that. So, welcome, guys. But we're gonna get into your family history and talk about the awesome set of bulls you got coming up in your sale. But first off, Mitch and I have a little bit of unfinished business from the last episode. Mitch, are you typing to your neighbor, or are you engaged here?
Snapchat.
You ready?
Snapchat. Okay. I'm listening.
All right, it's almost Kentucky Derby time. And I actually gave you a week last week or two or whatever it was from our last episode to find a horse that you want to bet on. So let's just be clear on this bet. So we're going to pick a horse, and just because maybe it's between who finishes ahead of each other. Maybe not if I win, then you owe me double. But anyway,
double and nothing is still nothing.
yeah. So Ty, can you help us out here? So I need pick a number in your mind from 1 to 10, and Mitch and I are going to try and guess it. So we'll figure out who gets to go first on a pick. So Ty, you got a number in your head? Okay.
Got it.
I picked 7. Mitch, where you at?
5.
5. Okay. What was your number?
It was 6.
Ooh. So how do we do that?
Well played. Well played.
All right. Well, let's do this again. Okay. 1 to 50. Okay.
1 to 50.
Pick a number, Ty. Yeah, between 1 and 50.
Okay, got it.
Okay. I'll go 27. Mitch?
26.
It was 35.
Shoot.
Yes. Okay. I get first pick. I get first pick on the Kentucky Derby. So I did a little bit of research.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you did too, all about 5 minutes ago, didn't you? So Forte is the favorite. You know, it's interesting. If you look at the pedigree of Forte, he's out of a stud called Violence. I'm like, well, he might be aggressive type of horse, you know, I don't know. And then on the dam side, he goes back to a stud called Seattle Slew, who was from our neck of the woods.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Yeah, it is. It all ties together. So then I was going down to another horse called Tappet Trice and King's Barnes, and they all went back to Seattle Slew. So is there some consistent factor here? I think you should breed the Seattle Slew. But Tappet Trice,
I know what it is.
Is an inbred Seattle Slew. So both sides. Go ahead.
You guys raise better horses than cattle there?
We could.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, another one that I was looking at, kind of a long shot, was a horse called a horse named Two Phils. I'm like, that's kind of a cool name. He's out of Hardspun, but he goes back to War Admiral. Don't know if you guys remember War Admiral, but he lost to Seabiscuit. So I don't know. There's a lot of good genetics in there. So I am going to pick King's Barn. It's going to be my selection out of that because he does have some Seattle Slew blood in him. But if I were to bet on and I'm actually going to be in Montana, and when the Kentucky Derby is going on, I would bet on 2 fills. But in this situation, I'm going to bet on King's Barn. So, Mitch,
Perfect.
what's your bet?
Tap it Trice, just because I like the name.
Well, did you didn't even do any research, did you? Jeez.
Well, some people are actually busy, Carrie. I mean, I don't know.
Whatever.
Like, I don't get to sit in front of a computer all day like you do.
Well, have you learned how to read yet? So tap it. Yeah.
That's the question I ask you all the time.
I know.
I
Guys,
mean, really though, like I looked at like the top 5 and I'm like, tap it Trice. It's speaking to me. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was to bet, I mean, shit, look at the odds on him.
Oh yeah.
The other ones, you're going to win like $1 off of $100.
But with 2 fills, you'd win a lot of money because of the odds on
right. But he ain't got no.
Yeah,
the
but
last
Tapper
place
Trice
one's
is
got
a good
better.
one. He is double bred, inbred Seattle Sleuth. So I'm glad you see that you are betting on something that's Washington bred.
The horses are better than the cattle in Washington. I shouldn't say that.
All right,
That's bad.
Stetson, Sterling, Ty, do you guys want to come in on this friendly bet? You got any? I don't know if you guys are watching the Kentucky Derby, but you're going to watch now just to see what happens. I know it.
Yeah, we're going to have to now see the outcome.
What do you got?
We always have a Kentucky Derby party at my house. So we dress up, we do the mint juleps, and we do the whole thing. But there's still snow flurries in South Dakota today. So the fact that the Kentucky Derby is a couple weeks away has never even dawned on me at all. So I haven't looked at anything.
You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Stetson or Sterling, you got a horse you want to throw in the mix here? You got a horse name?
I'm gonna go with Don't Get It, and I'm gonna hope it's a play on words, and he's actually.
That's kind of what I did.
Yeah. Oh, that is awesome. So we're gonna have fun with this. Everybody's gonna be watching the Kentucky Derby, and I think I'll probably be in. I don't know, Missoula, Montana, or somewhere in about there on that Sunday. So, but with that, Mitch, you got a little a local sale report to talk about, don't you?
Yeah, it's kind of another unexpectedly cool day here in Nebraska after we had, I think we had about 3 or 4 days in almost the 90s. But I was like, I got chores done. Some customer of ours that buy some show calves sold some heifers at the local sale barn. So I'm like, I'm going to see what these things brought. It's 50 pairs, first calf heifer pair, red Angus pairs, commercial. And, I thought these things are going to be nuts because the way in Western Nebraska, they've been selling pretty good for first calf, second calf, younger cow pairs. But it was kind of a buyer's market. It kind of surprised me a little bit on the cows or the heifers. But, you could buy pretty much anything you wanted from the 22 to 2,800 mark on these commercial pairs. But
black-hided?
They were red and black. There was mostly red because there was like 50 of these red ones. And they had big calves, but the problem was I felt like they weren't in that great a shape. Like if they were looking for that ultimate dollar, they could have had a little more condition on them, maybe. Maybe weighing in a little thin. There was some of them that did reach 1,300 pounds for the pair average, so that's probably, and those 1,300 pounders probably had a 200 plus pound calf on them. So that probably isn't out of reach, but then there was some that were down in the 1,100s and they had big calves, and I'm like, that's getting a little small.
Right.
But what surprised me is when they got to the cows, they couldn't hardly give away pairs of red heifers.
That's weird.
So they split a bunch of them bred cow pair or a bunch of the cow calf pairs and weighed up the cows, but then the calves come in and bring $600.
Or are they making roping calves out of them, or what are they doing with them?
No, they're gonna feed them.
Oh, okay.
So these and I'm talking like 250 pounders, maybe 300. Some of these might have been scratched in 300. And these cows were big, way up type cows, like 16, 1700 pound pairs, middle age, 500 or 5 to 6 years old. But I was thinking, man, that should be right in the wheelhouse of, everybody around here. They didn't sell big groups of them. They weren't like, oh, you got to buy 20 or 10 or whatever. It was most of them, they kind of run in groups of 4. One guy dispersed, I think, 30 some cows. He had a group of 5 cows that had Angus AI'd calves on them. And the sale barn owner ended up buying them, weighing the cows up, brought the calves back in later in the sale. And they ended up bringing like $600 and some, but because they just sold them per head. I didn't even see what they weighed, but they were big calves. So to me, everybody. And then the other thing is there was a lot of people brought in their tail end calving cows saying, hey, we're done calving today, is what they kept saying over the announcer speaker. They're done calving today. That's why they're bringing these cows in. And I'm thinking, nobody gets done calving in like third week in April in Nebraska. I mean, we drag out till May, especially the commercial guys. But
yeah, those are your October born show cows, right? Those May cows.
Yeah. No, this was a strictly a fairly commercial born. And it's a pretty commercial sale. But the trend I'm seeing is everybody wanted to buy the calves. The calves are, it wasn't that cows aren't worth anything. It's just, we're not seeing we've been through enough drought in our area. South Dakota is still fairly cool. We're still fairly cool. So our grass ain't coming on real quick. But everybody wanted to buy the calves. The feeder calf market's going to be crazy, I think. It was crazy on them little, 300-pound calves bringing 2 plus whatever a pound, not even weaned. I mean, they're pulling them things straight off the cows. So it was crazy to me to see that those good cows. I mean, they actually were sending second trimester cows to slaughter because nobody wanted to buy them, but everybody wanted a calf. I mean, if that thing would have had a calf, they would have pulled that calf right off and it'd have been worth crazy money. And so the upside of the market's going to get crazier for the feeder cattle market.
Yeah.
Before it gets
$1,600 calves or more, huh? I mean, well, that's what they're bringing up here right now.
Well, my God, them little guys I just couldn't believe it. I'm thinking to myself, if there was a spot where a guy could put some of these cows, because, weigh up price on these bred cows, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old cows, they can just have calves.
Yeah.
It's not going to be too much science, but so strong, super strong upside on. when you're seeing them little calves bringing that much, there's going to be some more room. Yep. So every calf born and every cow bred is going to be crazy, and goes to the bull market. It's like, holy cow, if you got an old bull, you just as well get rid of that damn thing. Make sure your cow's bred because.
And then buy one back on April 29th, right? So that's a good turn.
I'm just saying, a lot of people tend to keep their bulls a little too long, or stuff happens. You might get a 4 or 5-year-old bull get a little rough shape. I try to keep mine, till they get some age on them. But I've had to call some bulls when they're 4 years old, and
I think you have one that's like 18, don't you?
Yeah, he's only 8. That bitch looks so good though, too.
8, 18, same thing. So in dog years, he's like 18. So
he might be 12 before I get rid of him. I don't know. I actually probably won't get rid of him because he still has.
What do you go out and pet him or something? Is it like one of your little buddies? Or
no, I ain't scratching no damn bulls because actually, the other day when Andrea and I were getting one in, it had one of our 3 backwards ones in the last week. That bull, one of the bulls freaking laid into her. She was the cow started running away, and that bull didn't even I mean, he just freaking whacked her right in the leg. She's like, I think I broke my leg. And I'm like, are you shitting me? We got to pull a calf.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't whine now. We got work to do.
She did it. She was on one leg. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She did this once before. Bull kicked the gate and split her head open. She's like, we got to load the bull. And I'm like, yeah, but your brains are leaking out.
Yeah.
They're just squirting blood all over. You're too much of
good.
a renegade. We don't need to be that hard here. But yeah. So,
well, let's
the market's going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be a good market, and hopefully a good market here on April 29th for the Wienk Charolais wholesale. Look at this. I have my catalog that came in the mail. So personally addressed to myself, Cliff Livestock. So
you didn't steal that one, huh?
No, I didn't steal it from the neighbors, but went through this catalog, guys. We're going to talk about your sale. So first off, why don't you give us where's the sale happening, when, and how can we bid, and all that fun stuff, those details that we need to know about to bid on your bull sale.
Yeah, I can take a shot at it, and these guys can fill in the gaps. So sale is at the main ranch where Sterling and Stetson both live. Long history there. We talked about the park in Lake Preston when we started off. Our first, this year's our 54th annual bull sale. Our first bull sale was actually in the city park in Lake Preston.
Hey, see, it all tied in then, didn't it?
You knew something that you didn't even know yet.
Yeah.
The first one was in the park in 1970, I want to say, whatever the math works out on that, and then every other one since then is in the exact same building and the exact same spot that we're going to have this sale here next week. So a lot of history. Anybody that's ever been to a sale knows exactly where to go because we have it in the very same spot. So
awesome.
As far as where to bid, obviously we have a live auction sale. We're set up we like to run the bulls through live. I know a lot of people don't do that anymore, but it's going to take an awful lot for us to change from that. DV auction will be there. You can bid online, and we have a whole host of reps and whatnot that take bids. And we've had a lot of commercial customers that trust us that let us pick out their bulls for them and send them to them. And they know that if they don't like them, they don't own them. So
yeah, perfect. So we're if you guys decide to fly me in just for the heck of it next weekend, where's the nearest airport or international airport to you?
Well, we've got a couple fairly flat pastures, depending on what kind of
yeah, what are you flying?
Yeah. And if you got a float plane, we got lakes all over the place. So.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, Watertown has got an up and coming airport that's got a lot of direct flights from Denver. So if you can get yourself to Denver, you can land right in Watertown, and that's only 45 minutes away.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, Sioux Falls has a great airport that's 90 minutes away. So either of those are pretty accommodating.
Right on.
If you're driving the speed limit, you can do better than that.
Oh. Well, if you were driving a Ford, you can do even better. Chevy might be having here we go.
I thought you were on the Dodge thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Depends on if mom comes to pick you up or not.
Oh, that'd be good. I'm good with that. So, well, we're excited to talk about your bulls there. So let's talk about a little bit of history and how came with the name and how it all just came about. So
yeah, well, that would be me also. I am the self-appointed historian.
Okay.
So
well, somebody's got to be.
I love history and tradition, and we're blessed to be filled by both. So Grandma and Grandpa, Arnold and Carol Wienk, are in the Charolais Hall of Fame and have been for quite some time. So they got married in 1958, and they got their first Charolais bull in 1958. Grandpa was reading a farm journal and saw the famed Jerry Litton stuff down in Chillicothe, Missouri, about what this Charolais breed was doing, and ended up buying a bull sight unseen from Jerry Litton, and got married the same year. And then in a year later, 1959, they actually went down and visited the Linton Ranch and viewed the cattle and ended up taking home another bull and 6 cows. So
perfect.
Yeah, and we got all kinds of articles from up in South Dakota here. One of the very first in the state of South Dakota to have Charolais cattle, and they called them ghost cows and made fun of them. And Grandpa was the outcast. So,
right.
Great grandma and grandpa Leroy and Francis were living in the house that Stetson lives in now, and his fiance.
That's awesome.
His fiance Mesa. They're getting married in October.
Congrats.
And, when we were growing up, Grandma and Grandpa Arnold and Carol lived in the house at Sterling, and his wife Courtney and their kids Riker, Landry, and Laramie live in. Grandpa Arnold was actually born in the house that Stetson lives in.
Wow.
And, so there was a period there, especially when Sterling and I were getting to drive equipment and whatever, early elementary, where we had 4 generations all working beside each other. So great grandpa was still running equipment. We were running equipment, and Dad and Grandpa were out there as well. So pretty cool upbringing. But over the years, Grandma and Grandpa, they bred up a lot of their colored cattle and Herefords into purebred Charolais. Through the 50s or the end of the 50s, 60s, 70s, they helped get started the Upper Midwest Charolais Association, which predated anything on a national level. They were true promoters, converting people to the Charolais breed, loaded up stock and went to Denver and Kansas City and all the state fairs in the Upper Midwest, and had their 5 daughters in a regular cab pickup, just promoting Charolais cattle.
Right on.
Grandpa talks about sleeping in the straw at the Sioux Empire Fair and waking up to a rat sitting on his belly. They just,
Mitch had that in Grand Island last year.
They've got
maybe in Denver too.
Yeah, they've got some wild stories about what they did to promote cattle, and it really took them all over the world. So Grandma and Grandpa have been to trade missions in Mexico and Europe and almost every continent from Charolais cattle, and they've got to they met David Bonfield in Spain when they were representing the association over there, and
wow,
he's from Australia, one of the premier Australian breeders, and he flew up to South Dakota to learn about our operation, and so very blessed to meet so many people from across the world. So early adopters of embryo AIing, all the things. Anytime a new piece of technology came around, doing embryo work back in the early 80s, and served as a national Charolais president and served on the national board, and so very blessed to be actually our generation with Stetson's fiance and Sterling's wife would be the first generation that's got income off the farm, income that weren't Charolais cattle. So Charolais cattle have been our livelihood and paid the bills around here for a handful of generations now. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So leading up to today, at one point, a two of my mom's sisters, the Vidveys and the Jensens, were part of the operation in the 80s. And broke away and started their own Charolais operations. And Mom and Dad, our folks, Jeff and Jody, joined in 85, I believe. Sterling was born in 86, and I was born in 87, and have been sole partners since the mid 90s. And we took over the operation here probably 10 years ago or so. So today it's Stetson and Sterling and their families, and Mom and Dad on the farm full time, and I have a day job elsewhere and help on the computer work when I can. But they're doing all the heavy lifting.
Awesome. So, are you guys strictly Charolais, or do you have other breeds?
Just Charolais. One breed, one brand, one family. We're pot committed at this point.
Awesome.
Right.
So what are you you have a farm also, or is it just a cattle operation, or you have a little farm or some hay and crops that you're putting up along with the cattle?
go for it, you guys.
It's you.
Yeah, we farm a little bit. Here, when I got out of college, we were trying to do everything. We were trying to do the farming and the cattle, and we kind of decided that the cattle was our passion, and we wanted to try and do more with them. And so I've got a good friend that actually does all of our farm work custom for us.
Oh, hey, there you go.
We get to sell a little bit of beans, but most everything that we put up is either for hay or bedding or feed of some kind. Been doing a lot of like oats and peas. Chop them off, and then we'll plant cover crop in behind them, so we got something to graze in the fall before there's corn stalks. Yeah, been working pretty well. We started doing that, and then we actually AI everything one time before they go to grass.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of work.
Yeah. And our first calf heifers, we AI 2 rounds on them. So, yeah, it's a lot. Everything goes through the chute at least 3 times. We do the 1 week cedar program, and it's been.
I was just gonna ask what you guys used. Yep.
You know, I don't know if you notice that they just get easier and easier. Well, the 3rd or 4th time going through the chute, right?
Said nobody ever.
Yeah, I was out there pulling cedars at 6 a.m. this morning because we're on a time deal, and I'm like, I wonder if anybody else is doing this right now, at this time. And they weren't one. And my daughter's old show heifer, she just does not want to move into the alleyway. I'm like,
get a halter, put it on them.
It would have been a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's show heifers are a pain all the time. My thing is at calving time.
Oh, yeah.
Like twice, and then look at you like, okay, hell.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
Can you do
got
my
any
nails?
feed in your pocket?
So, what is your? I was talking to BJ Hansen yesterday, and he's in South Dakota, and he said he just got land blasted by snow, and then he got flooding, and he was talking about not being able to get crops in his part of South Dakota. So, are you guys facing that also in your region, or a little different scenario?
We're a little different. They got blasted a couple times more than we did. He's really not that far from us. He probably 60 miles from us to the northwest. And that last storm that come through, they were predicting us in the 12 to 14 inch range, and I think we got a ½ inch.
Oh geez. That's typical.
Yeah, and we had a real slow melt, and so we didn't have any flooding here, but those guys had so much more snow up there that theirs didn't melt before we got up to 85 degrees, and then it really.
He had a video on Snapchat, I think it was, and those cows were knee deep in water when that thing started coming off. So
yeah, and now today, we were 85 degrees last week, and now today it was 30 degrees, and the sun would try and shine, and then it'd get dark, and a snow squall would come through, and you couldn't see a quarter mile. Then the sun would try and shine again. It's Mother Nature's off her meds for sure.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny. All the parts of the states are different. Like everybody thinks, in Washington, we're in the rain area. That's Western Washington, which is 30. Seattle, 30 some inches of rain. Where I'm at, I'm 6 to 7. And not because I'm east of the Cascades, but and then you get east of here, it's dryland wheat. So every part of the state is so much different when you might judge the whole state just for one area. But
so for our listeners that have no idea the layout of South Dakota, what part of South Dakota are you guys in? Or give them a description so they know, because we've got listeners in everywhere from Mexico to Canada to
India,
other countries. Yeah, India,
Australia,
Indonesia. That's
Bangladesh.
We're still waiting to hear back from them, but they're gonna get in the drawing one of these days.
Oh yeah.
But go ahead, just tell everybody where you guys are exactly at. Maybe some major landmarks around you or cities.
Yeah. So we say we're east central South Dakota. So north southwise, we're by about right smack dab in the middle, and then we're west of the South Dakota Minnesota border by 50, 60 miles.
Oh, okay.
If you know where Brookings is, Brookings is 45, 50 minutes straight north of Sioux Falls on Interstate I-29. We're just straight west of Brookings, about 35 minutes.
Oh, right on.
So,
well, I'm going to go right on the record and just tell you, you have the best governor in the United States. I actually got to have a drink with her at the NFR here a couple of years ago, and then she was a speaker at actually I'm on the rodeo board here in Ellensburg. She was a speaker at our convention in Las Vegas one year. So I'm like, I had told her, in fact, I'm like, can you come to Washington or right? Well, first off, she asked me where I was from, and I said Washington. She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Oh.
And I said, "Yeah."
Oh.
And can you come save us? We need some help. But what an awesome governor! You guys stayed open during the whole pandemic there, and kept our families going.
Should have just had her find you a ranch over here.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, I've been, 2 years ago, I went to, was it Rapid City? Was it 20 or 21? So they had the circuit finals there. So I went there. So, and then actually last year I went and bought a Feather Light trailer in South Dakota. So I've been on the western side of South Dakota, but haven't really been in your guys' neck of the woods. But sounds like a good state to be. So
sounds like we're going to need you to get you some good maps if you're going to land in that pasture.
Yeah. Just flip me a pin. I'll just land on the pin.
Yeah.
So.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. I'm gonna fly in Dutton, Yellowstone style. I'll just come in a helicopter and just land it wherever. So we'll be good.
Hey, I seen on a Snapchat today there. So one of my Snapchat friends, and I can't even tell you his name because his Snapchat name is CM, and I don't know who that is. But anyways, he's in. Well, it could be, but he's in Montana, and he had a helicopter, a chopper flying. He's like, "Oh, they're here to hunt the coyotes," and sure as shit, they shot 6 coyotes in about 30 minutes.
Really?
So
that'd be fun.
Oh well, yeah, kind of probably not, because he was telling me the before math of the whole coyote hunting situation. They may have lost a few calves.
Yeah,
which unfortunately I did last week either. Yeah, oh yeah. In 30 minutes shooting 6 of them, but yeah.
Be like hog hunting in Texas. I've always wanted to do that. So
yeah, I think they're smarter than hogs. So
yeah. Well, guys, let's get on to your bull sale. We've got some awesome bulls to talk about. How about we start out with lot 1, right? WCR Patton, and thank you for making a nice, easy name to pronounce because we've had some issues with that.
Not you.
Oh, okay. Well, minor details. But let's talk about this bull. Let's talk about his sire, his dam, and all the good parts about him. So, have at her, boys.
Well, I suppose this is my time to shine now.
Yes, sir.
Patton is out of a new herd sire that we had gotten last year out of Canada from Cedar Lee Ranch, and that bull, just with time, has just gotten better and better. We kicked him out on grass that first summer, and going out as a 2-year-old, he would have been a yearling, wouldn't he? Yeah, going out as a yearling onto summer grass. I mean, they kind of just look like boys.
Okay. Good.
But once, probably about a month into the breeding season, I went out there to check him that next week, and I was like just confused at what bull was out there. I was screwing out there to pick him up, and he was like, "What bull is this?" And I told him that it's this howitzer, and he was like, "Wow, he did well on summer grass on cows."
Oh, he kept going. Good.
He kept going, and he kept growing, and he kept just getting better and better with him. And we looked at him here just the other day, and he looks awesome.
Well, that's good.
And I'd have to say that's kind of how we feel about his calves coming into the sale too.
Well, looking at him himself, he's an LT Authority son, and then looks like he has some M6 grid maker on the bottom side. So he's quite a bit U.S. bred, even though he is from Canada, looking that way. So,
yep. As far as Patton himself goes, There's several bulls on the sale, and pretty much every single one that we'll be talking about have the power and the performance. This bull will just give you a good look from the side. He has the extra shape of rib and is super clean fronted.
Yes, he is.
And has the stoutness. Like, he's just got basically the entire package.
Yep.
I can't say that there's really anything that I'd really change about him, honestly.
Looks like he's got a big old 283 TSI number on there. I mean, along with the look and that jet front that he's got some numbers to back it.
Yep.
So
and
a 25 milk number. Look at that.
Ray showed over 110 on everything besides the marbling, which is still a 91.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would add, on the numbers side, if you go back to Howitzer himself, the bull that we went up and found in Canada, when guys are looking at bulls at our place, we use proven bulls that have high EPDs because they are proven performance, right? Tank, Blackjack. We've been using that Platinum bull, and then the bulls we've used forever in Kingsbury and County Line and whatnot. And those bulls have proven performance. But we always encourage guys, seat stock guys that are looking bulls at our house. Like, all these bulls competed in very large contemporary groups. We picked 110 of the best ones out of over 240 that we put on test. But, there's ones that have elite EPDs. I mean, there's, as a group, these bulls average, their average of their weaning weight EPD is in the top 15% compared to the breed average. So we have probably 10, 12 bulls that are top 1-2% weaning weight, yearling weight TSI. But we tell guys, go find the ones that, competed against their pen mates and blew them out of the water and have ratios across the board.
Right.
So we kind of took our own advice, and really some of his Howitzer's himself notes landed under lot 3, but his indexes were 108, 114, 128, 109, and 116.
Wow.
For weaning, yearling, average daily gain, ribeye area, marbling. And he was in a big contemporary group of 60 plus. And he was in the top, 1, 2, 3, 4 on every time he was coming through the scale. So we like EPDs, but we like high EPDs because they were earned in a big group. And we have confidence that they're not going to fall on us.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. We also do one thing that some guys might think that we're crazy for, and every time that we get a new herd sire, we breed them to a bunch of heifers. That way we know that if there is a problem with his calving, we find it right at the beginning and not couple of years down the road and figure out that we have some cows having some issues or something.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a
good idea.
I've heard of that on a few people, but this bull here, just like looking at his picture, like if you don't even look at his pedigree, nothing, he looks like one of those that be pictured in the semen catalog, and then you kind of start researching a little bit and you're like, I don't know if I can use that one because of this or that. But then you start looking at his EPDs and all that and his actual numbers, you're like, holy crap, you don't really see bulls with that neck extension, that belly shape, and then square through the hip like that. It's like, that's Carrie and I talk about it all the time in some of our podcasts that these people are always searching for the next bull that they can breed for the show. The show side of things is where we hear it the most, or at least I hear it. Oh, we need to find something to breed to. And it's like, if you had some show heifers or a bull that looked like him, I'm pretty sure you could probably do all right.
Yeah.
So,
and speaking of the show side on that, so are you seeing a little extra hair out of this Canadian bred bull, or is that passing on? I mean, that seems typical with the Canadian cattle. Are you seeing that?
He doesn't have as much as some of the other sire groups that are in there, like Blackjack or Border Patrol. But
he's not slick haired.
He's not slick haired either.
Okay. Well, it'll give a good snapshot for those that are listening on that. So
yeah, I think we'll probably flip to more, or at least maybe one or two more that are howitzers. But if guys are interested, the first 15 lots are all howitzers, and what you were talking about, that strong top line and that extra length. You look at howitzer's picture on this page. That's kind of how they're all built. They're pretty consistent that way. That just a little bit longer and really hold that back line nice and square.
Yep. From the picture, it looks good. Yep.
Personally, from looking at howitzer today and looking at his calves, they all carry some sort of look from him. I think kind of spitting images of what he actually looks like, and I'm actually very excited about this entire group as a whole.
Right. Well, consistency pays. Yep.
I would say before you go on, put a asterisk on him, because we're going to look at another bull that is a maternal sibling to his dam. So we're going to see what his grand dam was capable of producing.
Perfect. That'll be good. That was lot 1 patent. So let's go on to lot 2, WCR Ruger 285P. So what's his story?
Well, I think that these guys just kind of needed to go hand in hand as far as talking about howitzer sons. They're actually in separate pens right now, but they could have competed against each other in the same pen.
Oh, wow.
They both gained well. They both obviously looked really good. Ruger actually might have a little bit more extension, but he's got a little bit more leather.
Yep.
And he might be just a little bit square in his pin set.
Okay.
But in my eyes anyway, those are a couple of really good bulls that would be able to compete against each other in the same pen.
So when you're talking about different pins, are these you feed them out at your place? Are they on a kind of a ration throughout since weeding?
Yep. Right at weaning time, or right shortly after there in like November, we went through and kind of just went off weights at that time. But just looking at them, we went with kind of shorter and taller, just so that everything kind of fit in with each other.
Yeah.
Right. They compete a little easier, you bet.
But you never really know what is going to grow up in that time and what's not. So,
yeah.
I would say on this bull too, when you dig into the cow family side, we've talked about the sire side, but the bottom side, you're talking about bulls earning their EPDs. Not only does he have his growth ratios at 110, 112, 118, weaning yearling, average daily gain, but he comes from a 1% TSI dam, that had the same ratios when she was growing up as a calf.
And I showed at the state fair as a calf.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Show her. So she had the look as well, which isn't surprising when you look at him.
Yeah.
And then, when you go back to the Grand Dam being a legacy, that was actually a top seller for us here probably 10 years ago or so, that went to Summerford off our bull sale. He went to Alabama, and when they were still publishing the trait leaders, there was at least one round there where that legacy bull was the leading multiple trait leader for the breed.
Oh, wow.
And he was a bull that just crushed it. He had a little bit higher birth weight, but weaning, yearling, and marbling and, ribeye size, he just absolutely crushed it when he was a calf.
Cool. Well, that's a good bull there. I guess I should have mentioned at the beginning of these, you guys tested all these bulls that we're talking about. They are all PA free, correct?
Yep.
All the bulls.
Everything we'll talk about today is PA free.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. Of the 110, I forget if there's 14 or 15 or something in here, but I would say that none of them are ones that seed stock guys would be looking at.
Mm-hmm. So, but the ones we're talking about are all free. So that's good.
Yep.
So, all right, let's go on to lot 16. We'll switch to sire groups here and talk about the tank. You know, I don't know if you guys saw the LT sale last weekend, and some tank sons did really, really well. And the Bruckers had some stuff a couple weeks ago. They did really well. So this is lot 16, WCR Italian. So
the tank bloodline is one that we were fortunate enough to get in on really early. My mom and dad were actually out at the Brucker sale the year the tank was selling. We wound up being contending bidders on that deal. Found out that Eaton's had purchased him and were able to get our hands on some semen and really be one of the first breeders to use him and use him a lot. He's been really good for us. We've sold several high selling bulls out of that tank bloodline. The females are fantastic. I tell everybody, you know, they're maybe not your showy type fancy, but they're just good functional cattle. You know, they maybe just get a little bit plainer in their appearance on some of them, but other than that, just phenomenal cattle. This bull here, he's one that I really like. I struggle with some of these bulls that are in my opinion almost getting too moderate in the Charolais breed. And this bull here is a taller made bull that still ties it all together, still has some look, still is plenty deep enough to go with the extra amount of leg he's got, and holds his EPD package together as well. I mean, he's one that I'm really excited about.
Well, it looks like he's got the third biggest weaning weight and third biggest yearling. So you're looking at that adjusted 820 on the weaning and adjusted 1394 on the yearling. So he's got some growth to him.
And actually, last Friday, he was the heavyweight champion.
Oh, was he?
Wow. 75.
Oh, wow. So you should have called him Mike Tyson.
Yeah. and it looks like he's the IMF champion. Is that 152 ratio?
There's another IMF champion.
Oh, there is. So this is but holy crap! I mean, that's incredible. But yeah, you know, like you talked about bulls not having quite as much look. You know, one of my top yearling bulls didn't have quite as much look, but I tell you what, he had a set of nuts on him, and he semen tested like, boom, that vet put the probe in, and he was one of the first ones to get picked. You know, so what we think might not be, you know, as much look, and I know sometimes we get carried away, but I still like them good looking. But I also like these good doing bulls like this, you know, a little more elevated, like you said, got a little more stretch. There's really, I've got one or two customers that are like, okay, I don't want a 25 to 2,800 pound bull when they're mature, but they also like a little stretchier bull as a yearling. You know, maybe start to shut down around the 2,000 pound mark once they get really, you know, into their 5-6 year old age. But they like some stretch into them still.
Still want some growth.
Yeah, I mean that's really what they really want is the growth. You know, just yeah, the tank seemed like they could do it.
They're good cattle. So let's go on to lot 18. Another tank son. So WCR Tiger. So here we are. You're getting close to the Tyson name. Tiger would be Rocky Balboa, right? Eye of the Tiger. We're tying it in somehow, right?
Yeah.
Tiger King.
Tiger. Oh yeah. Different tiger. Rawr.
We won't go there.
So tell us about the Tiger.
This one actually comes out of a really good looking Big Ben cow. Basically every time that I go, because I'm usually the one that goes out every summer once a week checking cows, and there's her and another one that every time that I see them, it's like, oh, who's that? And it's just you.
Yeah.
She's a how do I even want to put it? She's a very feminine cow.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
She's kind of bigger for just being this would be her first calf. But she's a stout, sound, big rib cow is what she is.
Well, she's got must have Rio Bravo back in her on the bottom side, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And stout, smooth made. That's exactly what this bull is. He just kind of puts all the pieces together, and I think he does it very well. And honestly, I think I actually looked up his Cavingese direct score.
Yeah.
And like an 11.2 or something.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's got a negative 2.2 birth weight EBD, but with the highest average daily gain. So, I mean, that's kind of 82 actual birth weight. So you coming out good, moderate size, and a lot of growth, it looks like.
Yep.
So, yeah, look up lot 18, the Tiger. Eye of the Tiger.
I would say too, he's the highest average daily gaining bull. And that doesn't surprise us that he's a tank, because if you look at tank CPDs, he's like top 30% of the breed for weaning weight. And then he's like top 2 or 3% of the breed for yearling weight. And that's exactly the way our tanks have gone. They come in at 100 ratio, 101, 102. I mean, they're in the they're in the contest, right? But they usually just blow everything's doors off between weaning to yearling. Nice. Those tanks are always high growth. So I would add too, it's not in the catalog. We believe in all weights and measures, and sharing them. Some guys don't want to share their, don't scan the bulls or average daily gain, or certainly don't want to get frame scores. We give everything. And I will say that every bull that we've looked at so far is tested homo pulled as well. So
okay. Yeah.
Nice.
They're looking for homozygous bull. Everything that we've talked about so far has been homo pulled.
Good mention. Good. All right. We'll go on to another lot 33, another tank son that we're going to talk about. His name's Her Tank, but look at the 300.3 TSI. So you hit triple digits, 300.
Is that the highest of the highest of the highest of the 1%? Or I mean, I've never seen one in 300s.
I talked to our rep, and he said that that 300 is not only in the top 1%, it's probably in more like the 0.01 and 0.02%.
Yeah. Wow. I actually just played around with the ASCA sire and dam selector just a little bit, and I think he's one of 22 bulls. No, how did that go? One of like 30 or 40 bulls, I think, maybe, that cracked 300. But when you start putting in, they have a birth weight maybe less than 75th percentile, and you got to have marbling in the top, 30% or whatever. Some of those bulls aren't active. So I think if, kind of plugged in the balance of some of his numbers, he'd be one of just a few dozen bulls in the entire breed. So this is one where, we said, we like, it's awesome that he's top 1% TSI, top 1% yearling weight. We think that's awesome, but we love the fact that he earned it all. All these ratios against his pen mates, and he earned all his marks.
Well, that number, we have several dairy folks that listen to us, and they like those numbers because they want growth, right? So dairy guys that are listening to us, look up lot 33. This has got, you want numbers? This boy's got it. So
yeah. And if you look, I mean, like, actually, And I know it sounds stupid, like his birth weight at 0.1 is 60% for the breed. Like if he's going to add 0.1 to the average, or I know the averages are kind of weighted a little bit, but it's like he ain't even hardly. I mean, that's nothing for birth weight. And then I would imagine his calving ease probably is not that, or actually probably is better than that too. So it's like, holy cow, for that. Sometimes you see those birth weights on those high TS bulls be in the 2 to 4, plus.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty incredible.
That is.
And then still carry the maternal.
Yep.
So,
Look him up sale day.
You can't tell from the picture because obviously we didn't get one, but he actually has the look to go with it.
Okay, good.
He's going to be one of the very first bulls in the ring on sale day. He's got the look to go with it. It was a tough winter, and we didn't have as much time to look through things, and Stetson just missed him.
Yeah. Well,
good job.
Honestly,
good job, Stetson.
Wow.
Pick on the little brother.
That's how you point the finger. And actually, I thought it was pretty cool. I'm like, hey, they sent us numbers of bulls that aren't even pictured. Like, I mean, because everybody is real world. They know, like, sometimes when you enter a bull for a show or enter a bull for a sale, okay, that one don't turn out as good as what you got, or you substitute in. It's like, okay, right here's perfect excuse, So,
well, it's kind of funny, and especially this being a tank son. So, funny story, when we were having DeBruckers on, I'm like, hey, just go pick out 6 to 10 bulls. Then I got to thinking, well, that was about the dumbest things I've said. There's 650 of them. We're just gonna
go pick out 1% of your bulls
to talk, just so we can talk about them. But it is one of those things that, where'd that guy come from? They change so much.
I will add that those Thunder cows at about 4 years old look awesome. They are usually the eye catchers once you're out just looking around. And that Duke 589, the Grand Dam, she was also shown and campaigned all summer long. She didn't get quite the attention that she probably should have, but that was because there was one very special cow that kind of took
out the nation.
Yeah.
There was a sweep that year, huh?
Yeah.
That happens. I know the feeling. One of our best cows was a show heifer, and there was another cow that swept the nation before she did.
And she won the Triple Crown.
The only cow on the place that actually has a name tag.
That's a name tag cow. Well, that is. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about then.
Yeah. Well, let's go on to lot 35, and we're switching sire groups here to the Fortress son. His name's WCR Garrison. So what is Garrison? There's got to be a story behind that name.
We kind of just saw if you kind of piece it all together, everything that we've done so far has kind of been military or artillery or kind of had a not everything. We don't pick a letter or pick a topic per se, but we try to stick with the same: Fortress, Garrison.
Thanks.
So to back up a little bit, Fortress would actually be a 3/4 brother to that battalion bull that we talked about earlier.
Okay.
So a tank times a thunder cow. So 3/4 brother, and that combination just worked. We actually, the year that we kept him, we actually sold 2 full brothers because he's an ET calf. We sold 2 full brothers to one to Johansson's and Curtis's in Missouri, and another to a seed stock breeder in a group of seed stock breeders in Texas. So they stood out like a sore thumb, and they all got elite numbers in the EPDs that they've kept. So we're pretty excited about these group of Fortress sons.
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. Yeah, he's got some. He's got a big yearling weight in the top 5, right? And then the 3rd highest in the average daily gain. So he's got those growth numbers that 277.8 PSI.
He was in a different pen as that battalion bull. And he was actually the heavyweight champion of his pen at 1505 here about a week ago.
Oh, wow.
So you look at his growth numbers, the 129 ratio and average daily gain, the 136 ratio for marbling. He's obviously just a meat wagon. I know his birth weight is a little bit high for, some guys, but, he was born out of at the time he was born, his mom would have been 5 years old. She's a bigger cow. And this is the one that I told you to put an asterisk on because his dam is also the grand dam of Patton.
Okay.
So his maternal sister is the dam of Patton.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
And
that's tough. There's a lot one.
And I could attest to the birth weight thing. Carrie and I have talked back and forth a little bit about birth weights, what we can sell for bulls, blah, 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 this and that. I honestly like my crossbred cows, and I say crossbred, they're mostly kind of club calf bred. Yeah, the cows aren't. They're pretty much all half Charolais or some Angus cows. But I like them to have a little more weight. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't want a puny little thing coming out of them. So for some of these guys that want just a little more punch at birth and they know their cows can handle it, or I bought a set of cows, Angus cows from my uncle that decided to retire, and they will have small calves. Like, you have to use a bull with some punch. Otherwise, they're 65 pounds out of 8-year-old cows. And you're like, holy shit, what do I do? And they look good. It's just, it takes them 2 months to catch up to their freshly born penmate,
So we can come back and we'll do a 2-hour podcast episode on birth weights.
Yes,
we'll talk about all the things. But
well, you got good data on your page 3 in your catalog, just talking about the differences of weights and where you're seeing the death loss. And
we try to educate. We share in that page, those couple pages of our catalog, we try to get guys to remember that the environment and the cow and all these things, how you're feeding them, all these things go into what that birth. I know the bull always gets blamed. But talking about have we gotten too small? We share the data from Dr. Dan Scheich. He actually was at the Angus convention when he presented all his slide decks, and it's pretty interesting read if you go back and look at it, because he took the University of Illinois Angus cow herd and he bred it 1 year to Angus and he bred it the next year to Charolais, and then had the data on everything: birth weight, weaning weight, girls, carcass kill data, and whatever. And, not only did the heterosis and hybrid vigor and everything that Charolais, bring to the table absolutely blow the doors off of those black on black calves, but, every pound that those calves are young, way less at birth, you're giving up performance, you're giving up health, you're giving up the data on it is unbelievable. And we've done the same thing. We bring in 500 plus calves between bulls and heifers, and we've got year after year after year after year. And I've played around in Excel and ran a regression. Let's run a regression on birth weight versus weaning weight, and it's a scatter plot chart that has a trend line like you wouldn't believe. And it's like, okay, you want them lighter, that's fine, but you're pushing you're literally pushing your weaning weights down. And so we talk to our guys like, hey, we don't want you to have problems. Of course, you want to have calving problems, but that cow should have you want her to have just as big a calf as she can possibly lay down and have, we believe. Within reason, right? And so we believe in that. And so when we get to go pick 110 bulls out of 240 to fill this catalog, we're eliminating the super high birth weight ones, the ones that we, have lines that we think might have problems or whatever. If he makes the catalog, it's because he came out of a big old cow, or, we believe in the line that he come out of, that he's not going to cause anybody any problems.
Well, if you saw that was at university studies in Wyoming that pulled data from Montana and Colorado here in the past that the female has 60 to 70% influence on that birth weight, where the sire is 30 to 40%. And the other outlying factors are the pelvic measurements and weather and temperature and stuff. So there's a lot of factors in that, and so it's depends on your area, I guess. So,
and this bull, and we can flip on to the next one, but
yeah,
someone's going to want to come and is going to take home the heavyweight champ. That's going to add some growth in pounds to their herd, and they're gonna find Garrison in an awful hurry.
Yeah, I could see him using them on my Angus cows. I can envision it right now. Wouldn't be no more 62 pounders.
Let's change that. Yep.
Yeah, okay, 75.
Let's go on to lot 42. WCR. Oh, you guys were doing so good on me pronouncing names. Really?
I was waiting
for this one. I was just gonna go catch the front door, but go ahead, pronounce it.
No, go ahead. Mitch, this is you. You said you wanted to announce one. This is all yours.
Hold on, let me get to the bull. I gotta pull it up on my phone so I can read.
Yeah, what are you doing? Did you go to the bathroom or something?
Oh, Arlius.
Nope, you're wrong.
Really?
Aurelius.
Aurelius.
What were you gonna say, Carrie?
I was gonna say Aurelius. I was just seeing if you were paying attention. So,
all right, I gotta go get the front door.
He's named after the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius. Roman.
I missed all about him. That information about him. Dang it! I must have missed that in high school.
yeah. Google it. It's good stuff.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this bull. He's a blackjack son. So here's another genetic line for you.
So blackjack is a bull that was raised in Canada as well. Came from the Elder Ranch. Mike Elder had him up there, and I got to know Mike, and he was talking about his blackjacks, and we got to see some of the offspring, and decided that we wanted to be a part of it. And at first we bought the U.S. semen rights on blackjack, and actually today he actually lives at our house. We have the walking rights as well, so been a super good addition for us. A lot of bone, a lot of power in that bloodline. Just really good fit. Mike, I asked him, I said, can I breed him to heifers? And they use him mostly on cows. And the blackjack bull himself has a +2 or something for an EPD. I mean, it's a little bigger, but like Stetson said, we like to breed everything to heifers and give it a try. And I don't know if it's just the distance farther south that we are from Canada or what, but we bred him to heifers the first year, and we bred him to heifers the next year, and we'll breed him to heifers again this year. It just works just fine for us here, so it doesn't scare us at all.
I will say, get a little nervous that first year.
Oh yeah.
It turns out he is a full term bull. Like, you're pushing due dates on the heifers. And was like, I have a bunch of this coming. Are these things gonna come out okay? And it turns out that they were just fine. But yeah, he was very nervous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they look built right. I mean, what's the first thing that comes out? The shoulders and the feet and the head. So it looks like they're built right. That's what I look for is those. I like the clean fronted type of cattle. Looks like he's got that look. I mean, beyond the look, but that's the first thing to come out of the cow. So yeah, look him up on sale day of April 29th. Aurelius. You want to say it again, Mitch? So maybe you can get it right.
Aurelius. Hey, that is a little different than the ones you stumbled on.
Oh, would you just hush?
I will have to admit, it took me about a half a second to try and pronounce it versus your 3 seconds or whatever.
Yeah, fake news. We're good.
This one in particular is actually kind of a favorite mating that we like to do. The tank on the blackjack. This guy, I mean, like Sterling said, the Blackjacks had a lot of bone and a lot of power, and you kind of place it with maybe a plainer looking tank, and it'll give you a good looking bull, like what he did with this lot 42 here.
Oh yeah.
Say the name. Do it.
No.
I seen you dance around that. I mean, I heard you dance around it.
Yeah.
Well, in the full, it looks like a full brother sold real well for was it $20,000 to Prairie Valley Charolais last year. So, and his name was Buster. So,
a little easier.
Yeah.
Easier.
All right, let's go on.
Those last two bulls were both homozygous polled as well.
Okay, perfect. We'll go on to another Blackjack son, lot 51. And looking at the picture, he looks like a tank, but he's a Blackjack. But he looks like a big boy. So let's talk about WCR Sir Blackjack 276.
It'll go back to those Thunder cows too, because he has a really good profile from the side. And then you step in behind him and watch him walk away, and he's just as square as can be.
He's one that we've really liked all the way along. Really had to contemplate long and hard about whether or not to even let him go. He's one that he's got the look. He's got enough muscle and shape and dimension, but yet he's still got a little bit of that softer, more maternal look to him. And the thing I really like about him is when he gets on the move, he just sets him down so square and so nice. And he's one that I'm hoping winds up going somewhere where they get him collected and we can get some semen and use him back on our own herd again.
Well, that's a lot to be said. I mean, if you're willing to use one of your own, you know it's a good one. So on both sides of that pedigree, that is lot 51.
Look at the deep flank on that guy too.
Oh yeah,
as deep a rib, long and deeper ribbed as he is, he's still got that nice deep flank. And sometimes it's a struggle to get a long bull to have a deep flank and that little bit of belly swoop. And he just kind of reads kind of soft all the way from front to back. And I think there's a good place for that in the Charolais breed, to be honest. We talked about it before. Sometimes we get a little too streamlined and we need to breed a little more softness back in them. And I mean, maybe I'm just looking at a picture because I did not have time to look at the videos, but he looks like he could be that way. So I kind of like that.
I think his calves would taste real good. Look at the marbling number on him. So,
oh, jeez. Yeah. Hey, well, that is important. I will tell you. Taste.
Yep. That's why we're here.
Absolutely.
So it's a bottom line. All right, let's move on to lot 58, and we're going to switch sire groups. And this is WCR Sir Platinum. Platinum Bull is one that you own with rights. Is that correct?
We bought him from rights. They retained
interest. Yeah.
Yep. I'll let you talk about that one.
This is obviously another one that I had missed. Didn't get a picture of him.
You're blaming yourself. You're getting the point.
Well, if I didn't blame myself, I have two brothers that would make sure that I got played.
That's hilarious.
You had one job.
I did.
Well, I want to pick out of your cool female pin. So just
I'll be right there.
When you guys run them to the sales yard, let me know. So
I'll Stetson, we're right behind you. We'll take your leftovers, I guess. Oh shit.
That's hilarious.
No, this bull, especially, and kind of all the Platinum Sons, he really adds a lot of length on their front 1/3. But this guy has just got the stoutness behind to go with it. I mean, if there's one thing that I'd actually like to change about this bull is I'd like to strengthen him up right in his heart area. But otherwise, he's kind of nuts, butts, and guts, and that's kind of the way that it is with the Platinum Sons anyway.
Yep.
Good.
This will be our second round of Platinum Sons. I think our inaugural class was last year, and they were actually the leadoff lot of calves. And that Bold Move bull was one last year that Zender ended up putting in the national sale, or not Zender, Polzine, different, that other Minnesota breeder.
Yeah, he went to Canada, eh?
Yeah,
well, a
Polzine,
percentage. The front or the back legs? I don't remember which one.
Yeah, the left nut.
Yeah, the left nut.
But, we've really liked the calves out of Platinum. They're built like he is.
Well, you look in Platinum's pedigree, and obviously Blue Value doesn't hurt anything. I'm like, what was that? Thiel's top selling bull last week for 150 grand was a Blue Value son. But then also Platinum's got the Clarice cow, J139. That was a stud cow. So you throw a lot of those genetics, Blue Value and J139 in there, and then that's a good combo. So look him up April 29th. So guys, we went through some awesome set of bulls. So remind us again, they can bid on DV auction.
Yeah,
or fly into a pasture outside of
that's it.
Lake Preston.
Yeah. So we two places you can go. You can go to our website, winkcharolais.com, and on the bull sale page there, it's got links. It'll have links shortly. If they're not all up yet, it will shortly. We post a supplement sheet, sale order, link to the videos, some of the top lots, everything you need to know you can find on our website. Otherwise, if you go straight to DV, you'll have the same thing, right? Videos on the bulls. We'll post a supplement sheet, sale order, everything there. And we always encourage people to give us a call, and we're happy to talk through the bulls. And, we always say with our marketing, pictures, videos, information we share, whatever, our whole goal is just to get people to our place. We'd rather meet them first face to face and show them the cows and bulls directly, and they can see them with their own eyes. And so we're not trying to fool anybody with fancy pictures. We just hope that they'll intrigue them enough to come and visit South Dakota Spring with us.
See right there, Stetson, that was your out where you could say, hey, fancy pictures. You got to come see them in person.
We don't need them all.
And actually, I think this is as a good point for anybody that's calling you guys to call you to ask about those specific lots that you probably know them very well that weren't in the pictures, correct? So you be the guy to talk to.
I've been reminded that one should have been pictured. So
can't catch them all.
No. Yeah. Well, you guys got an awesome set, and you're gonna have a fabulous sale. But to continue the story, which is what we started this all about, correct? We talked about your grandfather and how this all came about, and this is awesome that you're carrying on the legacy. And we've talked about that in prior episodes of Mitch and I, and carrying a legacy of our family heritage and carrying on that brand. And the brand is your name, and it's something that you take pride in, and your word is your word, right? But there's another story that Ty, I would like you to visit about, and your foundation and the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So if we could talk about that story, and it ties in to the whole situation of your family and how you where you're at today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of a long story to summarize it. I was diagnosed with leukemia when I was in high school, and our whole family, including my two brothers here, went through a lot. Stetson was really young. Sterling basically started running the farm when he was 16 because I was 15, and mom and dad were in hospitals in Rochester, Minnesota, and all over with me. I did chemo hard for 2.5 years and had all kinds of complications, and honestly really shouldn't even be here. And so, that I could share a lot, but I started the Ty Eschenbaum Foundation in 2011 to raise money for youth cancer survivors, to get to help some of the families that we met. And, we were the fortunate ones. We went to a lot of funerals to a lot of kids that we had met along the way, and it just felt like I needed to do something for them. And from there, it's really just spiraled in a good way. If you showed a picture of our family in the catalog when we first started talking, and 3 of the people in that picture aren't with us anymore. And one of them is our founding matriarch, Grandma Carol, passed away last May, so not quite a year ago. And so we just have Grandpa now. And my better half in that picture, Autumn, passed away unexpectedly in 2019. And then our 3 middle brother, Calder, passed away here about a year and a half ago, also unexpectedly. So we've been through a lot as a family, and that's made us closer than most, and it's made us appreciate things more than most, I would say. But the foundation raises money for those who need it, and so from 2011 on, I was raising money for youth cancer survivors. And when Autumn passed away, I made a vow to support Make-A-Wish and make sure that she was honored with at least one Make-A-Wish kid forever, backed up by the endowment of the foundation, as well as a life insurance policy on me. And we've been just trying to make good on that promise ever since. And when Calder passed away, we wanted to do something that honored him, that, was worthy of how he led his life. And we chose missionary work. As it comes to cattle, it was one of our bull customers from Western South Dakota had sold everything and sold their way of life, and became, as a family, became full-time missionaries, and actually moved down to the Western Apache Indian Reservation in Arizona. And so we help, but it's the Bo Bendigo family, and they call it, we help hold the rope for them. They're out doing the hard work, and we're just trying to make sure they don't have to worry about their finances on the backside. So those are the 3 pillars: youth cancer survivors, Make-A-Wish, and missionary work. So we had our first big gala in South Dakota here in last December. We had 600 people come. We had a hell of a party and a hell of a good time, and we raised over $225,000 net.
Wow.
For our causes. So what we got to do yesterday was walk in to the Make-A-Wish. South Dakota, Montana is the Make-A-Wish chapter. It's 2 states here, and we got to surprise them with a 6-figure check that they weren't expecting. So that's some of the fun part of trying to pay it forward that we do as a family.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What a story. So
yeah,
you guys obviously you've had a lot hit on you in the last handful of years, and to keep that positive vibe going, and obviously the 3 of you must get along perfectly and not kill each other, but but to keep going in the tough times, and giving back in that form of the Make-A-Wish Foundation and your own foundation, that's very admirable. This is a very good story that needs to be heard. So great job, Ty.
Yeah, we appreciate it. At our core, all the customers and cattlemen, whether they're other seed stock breeders or commercial guys that we sell bulls to or whatever. I mean, most people end up becoming friends more than they are, customers or other breeders or even like family like. And at the end of the day, we're cattle breeders, but we're a Christian operation, and most of the people that we work with, sell bulls to, and whatever, carry the same values that we do, and that's a pretty cool way of life.
Wow. Yep. You guys got a hell of a program. So congrats on what you're doing, and keep her going. And I think with that, Mitch, you got anything to add before we let these good friends in South Dakota go back to sleep?
I was gonna say I can't top that too much. So
yeah. So thank you for being on with us, the Charolais Chatter. It's been an honor. And
thanks for having us.
It's you guys got a good program going, and I wish you all the best of luck. And again, if anybody out there has any questions, give Stetson a call because he's got these things dialed in right now. So
he's got the ones he missed marked even.
Yeah.
But, Sterling and Ty have got his back. So well, with that, you guys have a good one and stay safe out there. See you next trip.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
We're all little boys. It's just part of our DNA. A 7-day road trip, hanging out with friends, nothing but fun, adventures, and drinking. Come on, y'all, and little boys. The boys will be boys.
That's a wrap.